manifested itself down the ages. To find such an attitude in a group of people and to see such a point of view maintained with an unbroken rhythm, and demonstrating spontaneously and naturally, this will be the glory of the new age. To see the link of pure love and of soul relation, realized and utilized in group form and work is indeed new, and the attainment of this is the ideal which I set before this group of my disciples. If this group measures up to the vision as it exists in my mind, there will be established upon the physical plane focal points of specialized force through which the hierarchy can work with greater surety than heretofore. There will, through this and analogous groups, be set in motion on earth a network of spiritual energies which will facilitate the regeneration of the world. The influence of these groups, when permanently established and potently working, will have a wider objective than just the elevation of humanity. The potent rhythm which animates the inner brotherhood of the Lodge of Masters will make itself felt everywhere on earth, and these groups, if successful, may be regarded as the first step toward the emergence into manifestation of the Great White Lodge. But remember this: the keynote of the Lodge is not attainment or degree. It is stable relationship, unity of thought, plus diversity of method, of effort and of function, and its quality is friendship in its purest sense. The brotherhood is a community of souls who are swept by the desire to serve, urged by a spontaneous impulse to love, illumined by one pure light, devotedly fused and blended into groups of serving minds, and energized by one life. Its members are organized to further the plan which they consciously contact, and with which they deliberately cooperate. It will be apparent to you, therefore, that the purpose of these groups is to unfold in time the three major powers of all illumined minds. First, the power to work in and with all thought substance. The hierarchy of illumined minds is a group whose telepathic powers enable them to be sensitive to the mind currents and to register the thoughts of those who personify the mind of God, the universal mind, and to register the thought forms of those who are as far beyond the hierarchy of masters as they, in their turn, are beyond the disciples of the world. Those lives who carry out the ideas of the divine mind exist in their graded orders, and with the detail of their groupings we are not concerned, except with the fact that the planetary brotherhood is in telepathic rapport with those who are responsible for the planetary conditions in the solar system, with the Great Council, therefore, at Shambhala. They are also in immediate telepathic rapport with each other. The slowly manifesting powers of the radio, and the sensitive workings of the perfecting radio mechanisms, and of television are but the response in physical matter of the perfected telepathic powers, and television of the minds of the masters of the wisdom. Forget not that such powers are inherent in all men. The inner group of masters with whom I am associated work telepathically also with their disciples, and the disciples with each other in lesser degree. The power to see, the master, which has been the misguided impulse of the devotees of the world, who substitute this desire for aspiration towards soul contact, is but their response to the television of those who seek to guide them into the light of their own souls. They are only reacting to one of the demonstrated divine powers of the master, but not to soul action. Your response to such stimulation, as I can give you, and an earnest endeavor on your part, to love with unselfishness, will gradually perfect in you a similar relation to other workers. This will work out in three directions. 1. In the demonstrated ability to be in telepathic rapport with me and with those with whom I am associated. 2. In power to communicate with each other at any time. 3. In sensitivity to the thoughts of humanity as a whole. Can you not see, therefore, how a miniature replica of the brotherhood can be established on earth, and how in decades to come the working disciples of the world, the isolated initiates in the many world organizations, and the personnel of the new group of world servers will automatically respond to the telepathic sensitivity of such groups as will be found working in the many ashrams of the masters? The result of this success will not be the recognition of any particular group, but it will lead to the recognition of a universal power, and the state of mind of disciples of all degrees. This will establish in time, and without controversy, the unity of all beings. The revelation of unity through the power of thought is the glorious consummation of the work of the brotherhood, and to this you do, as do all disciples, respond in your highest moments. It can, in a smaller way and according to the measure of your consecration, be your glory and your goal also, if you hold the thought of oneness, of service, and above all else of love. Second, the power of the intuition, which is the goal of much of the work which disciples must do, requires the unfoldment of another faculty in man. The intuition is a function of the mind also, and, when rightly used, it enables man to grasp reality with clarity and to see that reality free from glamour and the illusions of the three worlds. When the intuition functions in any human being, he is enabled to take direct and correct action, for he is in touch with the plan, with pure and unadulterated fact and undistorted ideas free from illusion and coming direct from the divine or universal mind. The unfoldment of this faculty will bring about a world recognition of the plan, and this is the greatest achievement of the intuition in this present world cycle. When that plan is sensed, there comes the realization of the unity of all beings, of the synthesis of world evolution, and of the unity of the divine objective. All life and all forms are seen then in their true perspective. A right sense of values and of time then eventuates. When the plan is truly intuited and at first hand, then constructive effort becomes inevitable and there is no lost motion. It is the partial realization of the plan, and its interpretation at second or third hand by the ignorant, which is responsible for the wasted effort, and the foolish impulses which characterize the present occult and world organizations. The various groups in the Master's ashram can fulfill certain functions, and provide laboratories for specified work. Some can provide a demonstration laboratory of the trained observers of the world, and can handle world glamour and illusion. Other groups can focus on the development of the telepathic faculty, and become trained communicators. The objective before the hierarchy at this time is to break and dissipate the world glamour. This has to happen on a world scale, just as it happens in the life of every disciple. Just as a man shifts his focus of consciousness, when on the path of discipleship, onto the mental plane and learns to smash the glamour, which has hitherto held him on the astral plane, so the problem before the hierarchy today is to bring about a similar happening in the life of humanity as a whole, for humanity is at the crossroads and its consciousness is being rapidly focused on the mental plane. A death blow must be struck at the world illusion, for it holds the sons of men in thrall. By learning to break through the glamour in their own lives, and to live in the light of the intuition, disciples can strengthen the hands of those whose task it is to awaken the intuition in man. There are many and different kinds of glamour, and disciples are frequently surprised when they learn what is regarded as glamour by the masters. I will enumerate a few of the more general glamours for you, leaving you to make any needed application and expansion of the idea from the individual to humanity as a whole. Here are the names of some of these glamours. 1. The glamour of destiny. This is a glamour which indicates to the one whom it controls that he has important work to do and that he must speak and work as destined. This feeds a pride which has no foundation in fact. 2. The glamour of aspiration. Those thus conditioned are completely satisfied and preoccupied with their aspiration towards the light, and rest back upon the fact that they are aspirants. Such people need to move onward onto the path of discipleship and cease their preoccupation and satisfaction with their spiritual ambitions and goals. 3. The glamour of self-assurance, or of what might be called the astral principles of the disciple. This is the belief, in plain language, that the disciple regards that his point of view is entirely right. This again feeds pride, and tends to make the disciple believe himself to be an authority, and infallible. It is the background of the theologian. 4. The glamour of duty. This leads to an overemphasis of the sense of responsibility, producing lost motion and the emphasis of the non-essential. 5. The glamour of environing conditions, leading frequently to a sense of frustration, or of futility or of importance. 6. The glamour of the mind, and of its efficiency and its capacity, to deal with any or every problem. This leads inevitably to isolation, and loneliness. 7. The glamour of devotion, leading to an undue stimulation of the astral body. The man or woman thus glamoured sees only one idea, one person, one authority and one aspect of truth. It feeds fanaticism and spiritual pride. 8. The glamour of desire with its reflex action upon the physical body. This leads to a constant condition of fighting, and of turmoil. It negates all peace and fruitful work, and must someday be brought to an end. 9. The glamour of personal ambition. There are many other glamours, both individual and worldwide, but these will serve to indicate a general tendency. Those who are in preparation for initiation must learn to work consciously with glamour. They must work effectively with the presented truth, ignoring any pain, or suffering or mental questioning which is incident to personality rebellion and limitation. They must cultivate that divine indifference to personal considerations which is the outstanding hallmark of the trained initiate. I shall not deal further with the subject of glamour, as it affects, or might affect this particular group of disciples in my ashram. The times are urgent and the need of humanity so great that there is no space in consciousness, to use an ancient occult phrase, for the reiteration of the known ideal, or to tell you again what needs to be done. I would have you realize that there is no haste in the work, which a master carries on in connection with his disciples. There is no hurry in the work which I am proposing that we do together, but neither should there be any waste time or lost motion. It will become apparent to you that much that I seek to accomplish is related to thought control, and to the activity of the creative imagination. The hierarchy produces its effects upon the plane of appearances through the potency of its unified, conscious thinking. The establishing of such a condition of unified thinking within the new group of world servers is part of my major effort at this time. We can achieve little until that has been brought about. So I summon you to a new phase of intense, inner living and dynamic thinking, but this time with the objective of group fusion, group united thinking and group relation. It is the inner life of reflection, the cultivated recognition of the soul and the reflective alignment of soul and personality which will determine the success of this work. Third, there is another great mind power, which has to be unfolded. It is one which characterizes all liberated souls, no matter what their rank. This is the power to heal. This work is as yet in embryo, and the group consciousness is as yet so young and unpolarized that it is needless for me to enlarge upon the possibilities ahead.